In the sweltering heat of a Texas summer in 2025, President Elena Vasquez's administration celebrated its bold deportation reforms. Millions had been promised swift removal of undocumented immigrants, hailed as a victory for border security. Families cheered in rallies, but beneath the surface, tensions simmered along the Rio Grande. Agents patrolled with renewed vigor, backed by emergency funds from Congress. The policy's roots traced back to the 2024 election, where anti-immigration rhetoric fueled Vasquez's landslide win. "Secure the border, secure America," her slogan echoed. By January 2025, executive orders ramped up ICE operations, deploying drones and AI surveillance. Deportations hit record highs, but human rights groups warned of escalating dangers, predicting a powder keg at the frontier. On a dusty road near El Paso, Border Patrol agent Maria Gonzalez scanned the horizon through binoculars. She'd seen the changes firsthand: more agents, more raids. That morning, Intel reported a large migrant caravan approaching from Mexico. "This could be big," her radio crackled. Little did she know, it would ignite the spark that shattered the dream. The caravan numbered in the thousands, fleeing cartel violence and economic collapse in Central America. Families clutched children, dreams of safety in their eyes. Mexican authorities had tried to disperse them, but desperation pushed forward. U.S. drones buzzed overhead, relaying positions to command centers in Washington, where policymakers debated the next move. Vasquez's team viewed the influx as a test of their resolve. "No more open doors," declared Homeland Security Secretary Raul Ortiz in a press briefing. Troops were mobilized, non-lethal barriers erected. Media outlets buzzed with support from conservative pundits, framing it as reclaiming sovereignty. Yet, whispers of overreach grew louder among Democrats. As dusk fell, the caravan reached the razor wire fence. Shouts in Spanish mixed with English commands: "Stop! Hands up!" Agent Gonzalez's unit advanced, tear gas canisters at the ready. A young man at the front, desperate to cross for his sick daughter, lunged forward. The first shot rang out not from agents, but from shadows in the brush. Chaos erupted. Gunfire cracked through the night, bullets whizzing past fleeing migrants. It was a cartel ambush, exploiting the border turmoil to smuggle drugs. Agents returned fire, but in the pandemonium, lines blurred. A migrant woman fell, struck by stray rounds. Screams pierced the air as the deportation dream turned to nightmare. News helicopters arrived by dawn, capturing scenes of horror, bodies strewn along the riverbank, blood staining the sand. Vasquez addressed the nation from the Oval Office, voice steady: "This violence is the cartel's response to our strength. We will not back down." But casualties mounted to 12 migrants, 5 agents dead. Investigations revealed the ambush was no accident. Cartels, sensing opportunity and heightened U.S. patrols, had infiltrated the caravan with armed operatives. The policy's aggressive stance inadvertently created a volatile mix, drawing smugglers like moths to flame. Protests erupted in cities, decrying the bloodshed as policy failure. In Washington, Congress grilled Ortiz: "How did Intel miss this?" Leaked memos showed warnings ignored in the rush for deportations. Vasquez's approval ratings dipped, her dream fracturing under scrutiny. Families of the slain demanded accountability, while border towns mourned their losses. Flashback to early 2025, the Deportation Acceleration Act passed with bipartisan nods, allocating billions for walls and tech. Success stories flooded airwaves, deported felons, streamlined processes. But experts like Dr. Lina Torres warned, pushing people faster breeds desperation, inviting violence. Agent Gonzalez survived, haunted by the night. In her report, she described the confusion: shadows everywhere, voices overlapping. "We fired to protect, but who was the enemy?" Her testimony would later fuel congressional hearings, exposing cracks in training for such hybrid threats. The bloodshed rippled south. Mexican President Luis Herrera condemned U.S. policies, closing crossings temporarily. Cartels seized the moment, ramping up fentanyl flows through tunnels. Vasquez retaliated with sanctions, but the border became a war zone, dreams shattered by unintended consequences. Human stories emerged from the tragedy. Rosa Mendez, a 28-year-old mother, lost her husband in the crossfire. "We just wanted a better life," she wept in a viral video. Advocacy groups rallied, pushing for asylum reforms amid the gunfire's echo. By mid-2025, the incident dubbed border bloodshed dominated headlines. Documentaries dissected the policy pivot from promise to peril. Vasquez toured the site, laying wreaths, but optics failed. Migrants' ghosts loomed large in public memory. Legal battles ensued. ACLU lawsuits challenged the deportation surge, citing constitutional violations. Courts ruled mixed, some injunctions granted, others upheld. The dream's legal foundation cracked, forcing policy tweaks that slowed removals. Economically, the fallout hit hard. Border trade halted briefly, costing billions. Businesses reliant on migrant labor lobbied for change, fracturing the administration's base. Deportations hurt us all, farmers protested, shattering the unified front. International allies distanced themselves. Canada and EU nations criticized the violence, straining alliances. Vasquez's global image tarnished, her deportation model rejected abroad. The American dream, once exported, now seemed a cautionary tale. Inside the White House, advisors clashed. Hardliners pushed for more troops, moderates urged dialogue with Mexico. Vasquez, facing 2026 midterms, balanced the scales, but the bloodshed stain lingered, eroding her legacy. Memorials rose along the border, crosses for the fallen, symbols of shattered hopes. Agent Gonzalez became an advocate, testifying, "We need humanity and security." Her words humanized the debate, shifting narratives from wins to woes. Cartel leaders laughed from hitaways, profiting from the chaos. The policy inadvertently boosted their power, as desperate migrants paid higher fees to cross amid dangers. U.S. intelligence ramped up, but the genie was out. Violence normalized. Media deep dives revealed funding shortfalls, agents overworked, equipment outdated. The wins masked systemic flaws, exposed brutally by gunfire. Public trust in border enforcement plummeted, dream dissolving into doubt. Grassroots movements surged. No more blood marches filled streets from LA to DC. Bipartisan bills proposed comprehensive reform, blending security with pathways. Vasquez vetoed one, clinging to her vision, but pressure mounted. A year on, the 2025 bloodshed anniversary brought reflections. Families gathered at the river, sharing stories of loss. Gonzalez spoke, "It changed everything." The event marked the dream's end, birthing calls for a new approach. Policy evolution followed. Vasquez signed limited asylum expansions, a concession to reality. Deportations continued but with oversight, learning from the carnage. Yet, scars remained, a reminder of ambition's cost. Cultural impacts echoed in art and film. Songs of the border wailed on radios, movies portrayed the night's terror. The shattered dream inspired narratives of resilience, turning tragedy into testimony. Economists tallied the toll, $50 billion in disruptions, lives unquantifiable. Border communities rebuilt slowly, tourism down, morale fractured. The policy's success metrics ignored the human ledger. Political realignments brewed. Vasquez's party splintered, moderates gaining ground. Opponents weaponized the bloodshed in ads, promising balanced security. The dream's architects faced reckoning at the polls. Survivor accounts filled books and podcasts. Mendez's memoir, River of Tears, topped charts, humanizing the statistics. It challenged the narrative, showing migrants not as threats, but victims of policy pitfalls. Technological fixes emerged post-tragedy, better AI for threat detection, non-lethal innovations. But critics argued tech couldn't replace diplomacy. The gunfire lesson, borders need bridges too. Vasquez's reflections and interviews hinted at regret, "We aimed high, but paid dearly." Her administration pivoted to joint U.S.-Mexico task forces, mending fences literally and figuratively. Youth activism flourished. Students organized border exchanges, fostering understanding. The bloodshed galvanized a generation, pushing for humane policies over hardline dreams. Legal precedents set by the cases reshaped immigration law. Courts mandated due process enhancements, curbing rapid deportations. The shattered vision yielded a more just, if slower, system. Cartel crackdowns intensified bilaterally. Joint ops nabbed kingpins, but the root poverty and inequality persisted. Policy alone couldn't stem the tide, holistic aid was urged. Memorial Day at the border became annual, drawing thousands. Speeches decried violence, honored heroes on both sides. It symbolized healing, the dream's debris repurposed for unity. Gonzalez's promotion to trainer role spread lessons, de-escalation first, empathy always. Agent morale rebounded slightly, but PTSD lingered for many, ghosts of that night. Global migration debates referenced the event. UN panels discussed Vasquez syndrome, overzealous policies breeding backlash. America's model warned others against similar paths. Economic recovery initiatives poured funds into border regions, jobs programs, infrastructure. The bloodshed's silver lining? Renewed investment in forgotten towns. Vasquez's book, Border Visions, defended her stance while acknowledging flaws. It sparked debates, some praising candor, others decrying denial. The dream lived on in pages, contested. Artistic tributes multiplied, murals of intertwined hands across the fence, poems of passage. Culture processed the pain, weaving the shattered narrative into national fabric. Policy wanks revisited the act's flaws, rushed implementation, ignored warnings. Think tanks proposed hybrids, tech, trade, and tolerance, learning from the gunfire's harsh teacher. Mendez remarried, advocating tirelessly. Her foundation aided migrant families, turning personal loss into collective gain. Stories like hers rebuilt trust, one voice at a time. Midterms 2026 flipped Congress, new leaders vowing reform. Deportation dreams tempered by bloodshed's reality, bipartisanship tentatively reborn. Scientific studies linked the event to mental health crises, PTSD waves in communities. Counseling centers sprouted, addressing the unseen wounds of policy's fallout. International summits addressed root causes, climate migration, gang violence. Vasquez attended, her presence a reminder of lessons learned the hard way. Border tech evolved, drones with cameras for humane monitoring. The dream's tech legacy persisted, refined by tragedy's forge. Anniversaries evolved into festivals of hope, music, food, dialogues across divides. The bloodshed's shadow faded, lightening with time. Vasquez's term ended amid mixed legacy, security gains, but at blood price. Successors promised evolution, not revolution, honoring the unraveling. Final tallies, deportations peaked then plateaued, violence down but vigilant. The dream shattered, birthing a resilient, realistic border ethos. Today, the Rio Grande flows on, carrying memories of 2025. America's deportation saga teaches, policies must balance strength with compassion, lest dreams turn to deadly dust. Healing continues, one step across the line.